Not so long ago, at a D23 Disney convention not so far away, head of Parks and Experiences Josh DeMauro said that major expansions might even be already underway because they were shovel ready. Well, there's something else that folks are shoveling now that they're finding out the state of Florida never even approved the expansion plans to begin with. And now they're demanding that Disney change their course of action. We'll tell you what it means for your next vacation right now. Hello and welcome to the place that is changing hearts and minds simply by telling the truth right here on YouTube each and every day, 4 times a day. And we do it in the jolliest of ways you will ever find. Folks, we think you'll have a great time and we only ask that you click that like button. And we're going to explain to you why it seems like Disney continues to give out garbage. That's French, folks. It's French, I'm sure. Whenever they give us these sort of D23 pronouncements of what's coming to their parks, and they tell us all of these great things and how ready they are, and then we find out later, no, actually, you don't even have the permitting yet. You don't even have permission yet to change these waterways or to do these earth-moving things that you want to do. It's very confusing why Disney continues to say these sorts of things. And then we find out, oh, the government and the people who look over this to make sure that it's environmentally sound and that it is safe and all of that, they don't say you can do this yet. In fact, they say the opposite. Maybe it's just the case that Disney no longer governs itself in Walt Disney World Resort, and so they're getting used to this whole thing of government oversight. I know, crazy. They've never had that happen before. But it makes for very strange situations when Disney announces, we're doing this thing, and then we find out from the government of Florida, no, you're not doing that thing. Now, this could all be a bunch of hot air. We'll find out with the panel who'll explain to us everything going on right now.
We're talking about Animal Kingdom specifically and Walt Disney World generally right here. We have been keeping up on this story right here of all the $60 billion double dollar ways of turbocharging the parks, all this stuff that Josh DeMauro loves to tout up there at those D23 stages, right? We're gonna really turn these things around. If you are impressed with Epic, you haven't seen anything yet. You just might not see it for next 5-6 years maybe, but we're getting there, folks. Everything is shovel ready, I think is the terminology actually used. Well, as the Rivers of America project really did point out, maybe these things aren't as shovel ready as we were initially led to believe, and apparently that has happened again, but this time in Animal Kingdom. Blog Mickey here. State of Florida requests changes to Disney World's Tropical Americas permit before approval. This by Mike over there at Block Mickey. A new request for additional information, or RAI, has been filed by the state of Florida's South Florida Water Management District with regards to the submitted plans for Phase 1 of the Dinoland USA retheming into Tropical America's themed land at Disney's Animal Kingdom. The RAI is rather standard, and this particular RAI could even be considered short when compared to the RAIs of similar-sized projects at Walt Disney World, that referring to the Rivers of America project. We'll take a look at the latest development and what it means for the project. Now, Mike here from Blog Mickey. I like Mike, but he sometimes he has some interesting takes. For this one right here, this might be routine. This might be not a huge deal when you're looking at other projects around the state of Florida. What makes this particularly interesting is, one, this is probably going to be a $400 million plus project out here at Tropical Americas in Disney's Animal Kingdom. That's one. But two, which any delay is going to be millions added onto the cost. And two, remember, Disney used to have something called the Reedy Creek Improvement District, right? We all remember the Reedy Creek Improvement District.
Oh, that doesn't exist. What are you talking about? That doesn't exist. They hit it everywhere,
right.
Even on their garbage cans. They hit it.
Yes, exactly. The RCID. If you remember everything to do with the RCID, you'll know that they didn't have to submit any plans for anybody and didn't have to change for anybody. And now they are forced to again. This is the second time this has actually happened. Marvin, this is a big deal.
Yeah. No, it is. This one in particular, maybe not the biggest deal, just because I think the actual Yeah, it's about like what a half inch, like changing things by like a half inch on some of the plans, but it represents a larger issue of the fact that they no longer have their golden ticket. They no longer have the ability to just do whatever they want on this land. They now have to get government approval, and you can all thank Victoria Alonso for that, because if she had never opened her stupid mouth and trapped Bob Chapek in his office for hours on end talking about why Disney had to get involved in Florida politics, then then there would still be a Reedy Creek Improvement District, and they'd be charging ahead with every plan they have. Now they've got to get approval, and they are going to have to pay more through the nose to get anything done. And
well, because the scale and the size that they operate at, right? Any delay, you're talking what? Thousands, tens of thousands, hundred thousands, maybe even millions, depending on who they actually contract for this work right here, what professionals they actually bring in. Go ahead.
You don't submit plans for shovel-ready projects. You've already submitted plans for shovel-ready projects. That's the main thing I think people need to realize here, is that they should have been well beyond getting the plans back with demanded changes long before Josh D'Amaro walked his overly tanned self out on that stage and smirked with his veneers and stood there and tried to bloviate about how great all this is going to be, while hiding all the things that he's going to destroy and then hiding under his desk afterward.
Right. Didn't talk about how I mean, maybe they mentioned it, but Dinosaur leaving for an Indiana Jones attraction. Definitely didn't talk about how this Cars attraction, this Beyond Big Thunder project, was actually not Beyond Big Thunder, but beside Big Thunder in Rivers of America, and how it was going to replace the heart of Magic Kingdom. At a great expense right there, especially to the atmosphere of that specific park. Didn't talk about how the Monsters Inc. land, for example, was changing the was replacing the Muppets Vision 3D. Didn't talk about that. Didn't want to go ahead and leave that on the D23 stage for everybody, because everybody would have booed him out of the room. We just talk about these essentially pie in the sky ideas. They're shovel ready. We won't feature any details about them. We'll go ahead and leave those details for the Disney Parks blog post. By the way, they still haven't posted on social media from what I recall. Marvin, maybe you can go ahead and check on this for me.
I was
have they posted about the
No,
Please.
They have not posted on social media about the Muppet thing yet. The Disney Parks blog press release about it has no author. It is 100%. They are aware of how deeply unpopular a decision this is, and they know that the second they comment on this in any kind of public forum, they are going to get smacked into the dirt. And my take on that is, then why are you doing things that are going to get you smacked into the dirt?
Right. Why are you? They are absolute, I'm going to say it, they're cowards. That's a cowardly thing to do, to not unveil that, hey, look, listen, we're going to have Monsters Inc. land, but we're going to replace the Muppets. But don't worry, we're going to go ahead and shove them into Rock and Roller Coaster, of all places, which is just absolutely bizarre. They don't fit there whatsoever. There are plenty of venues
for that move.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a last-minute move, which is really the whole point of the segment right here. This talk of shovel ready. No. They're figuring these things out as they go, as can be attributed to this article and other moves that Disney has made over the last couple of months, really, that these things have played out.
Who thought it was a brilliant idea to go, let's make a whole land based off Monster Inc. You remember that one movie back then, right? Let's just make a whole land on it. It's just going to be doors, and each door opens up to another restaurant that charges you $80 for a bottle of water. Then you see it's all the nightmare doors, and then you just keep going to different restaurants with each door. That's the whole land. Like, I don't think anyone cares about this. Why didn't you just take the plunge and make a Bluey land and make millions of dollars right there?
It's if they could get their hands on the theme park rights for Bluey.
You're right. You know what I mean? Now, they probably would have. Like, we already got it on our Disney Plus. We might as well just try to get it in our park.
Well, apparently they were working that out, but I believe SeaWorld actually got a hold of the theme park rights
SeaWorld
for
has
Bluey. Yes, they do.
Do they really?
They can just strap a dog on Shamu and be like, "You better jump and not drown that dog."
any incorporation into orcas, I don't think SeaWorld is making at this current moment right now.
An expanded Muppets vision. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Like you could have kept the theater and expanded into here's Fraggle Rockland, and then we have Sesame Street, and then we have all the other Jim Henson properties. You know what I mean? If they had the ability to do that, they could have made Muppet World instead of just Muppet Vision. They could have actually expanded on Henson thing and showed people.
Oh sure. Oh, they could have done. They could have done a number of things.
Yeah, where you're scared of your kid. That's great. Monsters Inc. Let's go.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at these plans right here, let me see if I can go ahead and blow this up for the viewers at home. You can see right here. This is a comparison between Monsters Inc. land and what currently resides there, being the Muppets Courtyard, Muppet Vision 3D, and so forth. You can see
Edge.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Marvin, that's Mama Melrose that's going to be completely removed there.
I believe so. Yes. I just ate there the other day. I just ate there last week.
But the bulk of the facades, they're still there, including the Muppet Vision 3D Theater. Like Steven said, you could have incorporated the Muppets into Monsters Inc. land, and nobody would have really batted an eye. You could have kept Muppet Vision 3D the same.
Because we are no longer in the era where things like Fantasyland or Tomorrowland are allowed to exist. Things where you can walk through Tomorrowland and be like, oh, there's Monsters Incorporated. There's Buzz Lightyear. Oh, we're in Fantasyland now. There's Winnie the Pooh. There's Snow White. There's the Little Mermaid. There's Peter Pan. Everything has to have, for one attraction, you have to have an entire themed IP land built around it. And look, when you're Harry Potter, that works because an immersive land is something people want out of Harry Potter. Honestly, it in theory works for Star Wars too. Not the way they did it, but Star Wars is an IP that lends itself to this. Monsters Incorporated is not. I'm sorry, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not even a viable IP to make it a theme park. I'm sorry.
Right. Well,
and a lot of little kids going there are going to be scared of some of these oversized cosplayers in the costumes too for monsters. You're not going to have a good experience. Like even kids get scared of Goofy when he comes at you the first time.
They already have a Monsters Incorporated attraction in the Magic Kingdom, and it is the most sparsely attended thing in all of the Magic Kingdom. They've had Mike and Sully as meet and greet characters for 20 years, it's seemingly, and they've never been super popular.
No.
And they should have let Deadpool take over and just made a Deadpool land.
Don't tell Jonas.
PG-13 Deadpool. We all know Jonas. Yes.
No, I was just gonna say this ever since I heard you guys actually because I get my theme park news from you guys, of course. When I heard you guys talking about this Muppet retheming, I love the Muppets. I love them. Who doesn't? They're the best. But in discussion of this IP, in the IP discussion, it made me realize that this is sort of a self-inflicted hit from Disney, because with the Muppets, you could make an argument that yes, that IP is sort of not as relevant as it was. Now, bear with me. It's not as relevant as it was, but that's because they're not making anything anymore, right?
They killed the Muppets with their latest shows too. That's
exactly
the other thing, right?
But
the Muppets are looking right at you, Spencer. They're looking right at you, Spencer, with that whole comment. You better have something to back this up here.
I'm sorry, Gonzo.
Spencer, they need to jump in there with that though. Then they should have gone for the licenses with SquareSoft and just turned the whole freaking area into just a Kingdom Hearts.
I don't even get me started. I would cry. I would say nothing bad ever again. But
build your own Keyblade like they do the lightsabers.
Do not, Steven. I'm about to cry. I'm like genuinely. You said that. You didn't even finish the sentence, and I knew what you were gonna say, and I got so excited. But so if you guys remember back in 2011 when that Muppet movie came out. That was a huge resurgence for the Muppets. The one with Jason Segel.
Yeah.
Like that brought it back. Everybody loved it. Everybody was singing the songs. Everybody saw it. Nobody saw the sequel, which was unfortunate. But my point is the Muppets are one of those things that you can sort of always revive, always bring back, as long as you have the good writers to keep them relevant.
Well, with that's the thing, Spencer. They when people are like, oh, the Muppets aren't relevant anymore, I'm like, well, whose fault is that?
Right.
That's the fault of people. That's the fault of the people that didn't understand how to write them. When did the Muppets fall into obscurity? After Muppet Treasure Island, because Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island are very good.
No,
and after that,
but there's your themes. You just nailed it. You can have Treasure Island as part of the park. Then you have the Christmas Town, which is pretty much when they're doing the Christmas Carol. and then
Right.
you go on and so forth, and they have
And
all this
I'm
extra
not.
stuff.
I don't think that the Muppets are a big enough IP that they should have their own themed land. I think they were fine just having their theater
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
Pizza
It
Rizzo.
was great.
That was they needed nothing more than that.
But
You
to
telling me you
your
don't
point
wanna
too, Marvin, is that with Monsters Inc., we had that first movie and people liked it well enough, but it's never been culturally relevant after that, right? We got
Yeah.
the
Nobody saw
sequel,
Monsters. No,
nobody
I don't think
cared.
anyone saw Monsters University.
University, nobody really did. I remember when they announced Kingdom Hearts 3 and we were all excited. We went, yeah, and they went First World, Monsters Inc. Everybody went, all right.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. See, it was like, okay. It was like, why? Okay, it's one we haven't done before, but why? Yeah, it's not relevant by any means, and there's no real way like the Muppets to keep reviving it. That's a very sort of one and done story. And so that's anything monsters related is going to fade way faster than anything Muppets would have.
They should just put
Well,
a weight limit. Calls it
Monsters
Moana 2.
Incorporated. Monsters Incorporated grossed about 558 million at the box office, and that's with a 2020 re-release and a 3D re-release and all that stuff.
Including those, wow.
Yeah, Monsters University grossed 743.6 million, but it was 2013. You could also kind of say that was inflation at work. So
100%. Yeah.
You know what you
Yeah,
do? They could have made a huge corner, and it just has this giant safe door that's called the vault. And what you do is you pay for a ticket, you go in, and you're allowed to grab one classic movie on DVD or Blu-ray, and then they kick you out. That they would have solved all their problems too.
But it has to be a subscription service type thing.
No,
Every month you go
you're
back
paying
and you get
yearly
new ones.
subscription for the past. But imagine,
Yeah.
the vault is now opening. Grab your classic movie now. We
Yeah.
haven't touched anything.
Just know, none of these plans are shovel ready. These plans are literally being developed actively right now. They are nowhere near close to putting shovels in the ground. The speculation heavily with Animal Kingdom is that some attractions will start to go down pretty soon here. I believe Block Mickey has some dates for us. Yes, Dinoland will not face any Phase 1 closures until the second week of January, starting January 13th. You're going to have Triceratops Spin go down. Sorry about that. Fossil Fun Games, Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasure Gift Shop, and then maybe we'll get more substantial things go down. Well, in maybe 2025. Even this says maybe 2026 as well. So we're gonna have to see on all of these things. Again, all of this turbocharging, all of these $60 billion worth of investment right here. It's really about $30 billion. Why are they doing this? Because they're attempting to respond to Epic way late in the game. Epic will have, I think, one over on them for years and years and years. I don't think the Muppets, especially getting rid of them, that's not going to go very well at all, in my view.
Like theme park wise, Disney is pulling like the DCEU to Epic Universe's MCU. Like that's genuinely what it feels like. They saw Epic put in time to develop all their new theme park plans, and Disney just went, oh snap, we need to get something out there, retheme everything, and they don't really care what it is as long as it's in the headlines.
Exactly. Yes, that's Spencer. You couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's exactly correct. That's exactly what's going on here, and that's why I really, I don't know. I lack the patience for Disney right now when it comes to these things. Show me Earth Movers, moving dirt. Show me the trailers. Show me things actually going up, and maybe I'll start getting excited. Even with Tropical Americas, by the way.
Earth Movers, and it just reminded me of the awful Cars retheming that they're doing with the dirt tracks.
Yes, exactly. Well, at least the Cars, you have, a lot of stuff that's new, right? Tropical Americas, we heard very early on that project that Josh DiMauro provided a note for the Imagineers saying, these buildings, guys, they can't look like they're just painted on, which if we're judging by the model that we've seen already of this, by Monsters Inc. Land, for example, it looks like a lot of paint is going in and not much earth moving there, or shoveling dirt there.
I always feel really bad. I feel really bad lately, Vash, because I know that I'd say about like a year or two ago, or around when Bob came back into his CEO position, I know that you and like Pro and Marvin and everybody, you were optimistic towards Amara.
Yes.
You were like, he's doing some okay stuff. He could be good. And now, like in the last like 2 weeks, all of you guys have been like, no, go away. I don't ever want to look at your face again.
No. Well, I exactly. Well, I will say this: when Bob Iger came back, I was like, that's not so great. But maybe Josh D'Amaro can really flourish under new leadership. Perhaps Bob Chapek was really the reason why the parks hadn't been doing so well. Now we know. I mean, it's demonstrable now. It's undeniable that Josh D'Amaro was singularly. It could be singularly attributed to having so many changes done to the parks, not in the best way possible. A lot of monetization practices that have been very exploitative and so forth. It's really
They're
Josh's
like
division.
lightning lane things now. I don't even know what you got to buy.
Exactly right. Well, let me just go ahead and break it down here, Spencer. There's Lightning Lane Premier Pass, Lightning Lane Multi Pass, Lightning Lane Single Pass. Do you remember all that? Well, guess what? You can also ride the disability access service, if you can actually get one, that is, and also do VIP tours. So it is a catastrophe. This whole division right now is just, it's so infected, I will say, by so many different agendas, not just by Josh D'Amaro, for example, but remember Disney Plus. They've had to pour so much capital into that. They've had to take so much out of the parks in order to facilitate that whole thing. It's just a nightmare. But shovel ready, it is not.
It is such fun getting to spend time together, folks, but we have come to the end of yet another video. Well, that makes the mainstream scratch their heads, pull their hair out, and wonder how is it we continue to do what we do. But you know what we do this for? It's for you. To keep bringing all the knowledge of entertainment, explaining what's going on in Hollyweird each and every day. And you can help us continue on that way by clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. Share this out on your favorite social media platforms, and we would love to have you drop a comment right on down below. Share your thoughts because, well, your thoughts truly do matter, and we mean it. As we get ready to say goodbye, we end with the common refrain. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.